Hi, book lover. Welcome to Maktaba Digitali, your library, our library. It's all about fun in the reading culture. We are streets accredited and corporate certified. My name is MD Njiru, the artist. Maktaba Digitali is finally going international, and today we have a guest from all the way from the southern part of Africa, that is Zambia. She is an avid and a passionate love of books. So she'll tell us her name and more about her reading culture. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, David. My name is Sarah Myonda. I'm based in
Okay.
Lusaka, Zambia. I'm a businesswoman, and I've been reading books from the time I was young. I should have been 13, 13 years. Yeah, I was 13 years old. And that time, I didn't know how to read. But my father would send me to buy newspapers every day. My father was a soldier, so he wanted to update himself and to know what was happening around the world every day. So every morning he would send me to buy newspapers. But I used to feel bad because each time I held a newspaper, I could not read anything until
Okay.
one day I thought it wise to talk to my father and find out how I would learn how to read. And so my father told me that the secret to knowing how to read or to read better was by reading books every day. And so he
Okay.
encouraged me to be reading a book at least every week, one book. And that's how I
Okay.
went to a shop. We used to have shops in Dollar years back. That bookstore was called Kingston. That's how I went around looking for books that were being read by grade ones that time, because in grade six I didn't know how to read. So that's how I got that book and started teaching myself how to read. So in a month's time, I started reading, and even my teachers were shocked because I think my English teacher looked down on me. What he knew was that this girl doesn't know how to read. So that's how he was impressed. The first time I was given a book, he was impressed. And from that day, when the teacher told me that, Sarah, it's good now you can read books, I taught myself that I would be reading, I would be buying books every day. So that's how I taught myself to read. By the time I was in grade seven, I could read any word. Because the way it is in life, people don't know that as long as you are able to read, as long as you can read, you can become anything. You can become an engineer,
Sure.
you can become a doctor,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
become whatever you want to become, because knowledge
Yeah.
is found in the books. And I
Sure.
treasure reading because all
Yeah.
information is found in the books. So
Yeah.
I've been reading for quite some
Yeah.
time. It's a habit
Yeah.
that I've developed over the years.
Yeah.
A day
Yeah.
can't go by without reading, and I spare 30 minutes every day to read a book. Even if for me it's just 3 pages, 4 pages, it's enough. I will have fulfilled what I like doing.
Wow, that's awesome. And what happens during the busy days when maybe you are overwhelmed by your business, maybe family obligations? How do you cope with that when it comes to
I
reading?
still I still have to create time, no matter how
Okay.
busy. No matter, even if I'm driving long distances, I'll spare just 30 minutes to read something.
Wow. Yeah.
Every day I
So
have to find time.
it's more of a commitment.
No
Okay.
matter how
So
busy I am, no matter how
okay.
busy I am, time
Yeah.
should be created for me to read.
Yeah.
If I don't read in the
Okay.
morning or afternoon, definitely before
Yeah.
sleeping, I have to create 30 minutes
Okay.
just to read. Because if I don't
Yeah.
read, I feel like I'm missing something. Each time I
Mm.
read, I learn something out of the book.
Mm. Yeah.
If I have
Mm.
to find a word that I don't understand, there's a word that I don't understand, I quickly go to the dictionary and
Yeah.
yeah, and find out
Mm.
the meaning. And then I learn,
Mm.
and to me, each time I learn about, yeah, I learn about a new word, I feel, yes, I'm learning. Something is happening
Mm.
in my life.
Sure.
Because learning, we learn every day, David.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Sarah. Yeah. So, what's your current read? What's your current read, Sarah?
My current,
What's your
my
current read?
current,
Yeah.
my current state.
What are you
Uh,
currently reading?
or what I'm reading a book called My Vision.
Okay.
That was published in 2012. The author
Okay.
is the author is the vice president of the Arab Emirates. He's
Hmm.
also the minister of defense in Dubai.
Okay.
This man talks about where Dubai is coming from. As you may
Hmm.
be aware, when in the early 70s, there was nothing to point at. But look at where they are now. They have the
Mm.
best hotels in the world. They have
Mm.
the best cars. They have everything is just good about Dubai. And I thought it
Sure.
wise that I should buy this book and learn something
Mm.
from what the country is doing.
Mm. Yeah,
So that's
that's
my
awesome.
current. Yeah, I started
Okay.
on the first. I should be
Mm.
done by the seventh. Then I go to another
Okay.
book.
Oh. So it's roughly like in a week span you're supposed to be through with the book.
Yes, it's 7 days. I ensure
Uh,
that within 7 days I should
yeah.
be done. I go to another book.
Okay.
After seven
Yeah.
days, every after
Mm.
7 days, I need to read another book. So after
Okay.
this book, I'll be reading my life.
Yeah.
That book, I'm sure you've heard, you've read, you've seen that book. It's an autobiography by Bill Clinton.
Okay.
He talks about where he's coming from
Yeah.
the time he was a child, the
Hmm.
time he was in the White House, up to the
Hmm.
time up to the time he was he came out of the White House. So
Okay.
that is my next read.
Okay.
I buy books in ad- I usually buy books in advance.
Hmm.
Like now, I bought those books in November
Hmm.
up to maybe July.
Hmm.
Somewhere around July again, I have to look at other books that I have to read.
Mm. Okay. Let me comment on that book by Bill Clinton. It's called My Life.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
called My
So
Life.
there was something that I was wondering about our African leaders, the
Yes,
politicians and all that. Like, I don't know much about the Zambia history, the political history and all that. But in Kenya, like currently we have the fifth president
yes,
and
Ruto,
apart, yeah, Ruto, William Ruto. But other
William
apart
Ruto.
from apart from Jomo Kenyatta, who was our first president who wrote several books, there are several writings that he did. The second president Moi and the third president Kibaki and also Uhuru, they have not written any book, you know. But when I was looking at the presidents from the United States, people like Bill Clinton, people like Donald Trump, people like Bush, and the other presidents that have been there, even Obama, you find that
Indeed.
at least they have written something, you know, they have written
Exactly.
something about their life. I don't know. What's your take on that? And is there a Zambian president who has written any book?
Our late president, Frederick Chiluba, though I've
Okay.
not read his book, but I remember he wrote a
Okay.
book,
Okay.
as well as one or two books. I've not read
Okay.
those books, but they are
Okay.
there. The
Yeah.
other ones, I've not
Yeah.
seen anything. I've not seen
Okay.
anything. You
Ah.
are right. You are right,
Mm.
David.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
our our African presidents don't
Yeah.
write books. That
Yeah.
I've noticed as well.
Yeah.
And you know,
Mm.
all our leaders.
Yeah.
It's like they don't read books, and it gives me an impression that leader definitely
Yeah.
would want to write a book of your own
Mm.
someday.
Yeah.
Someday
Yeah.
you would want to write.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at all the presidents.
Yeah.
Look at all
Yeah.
the presidents, American presidents. I
Yeah.
think almost all of them have written
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter, of course, that were
Yeah.
there. You find
Yeah.
their books that have been
Yeah.
written. The
Yeah.
governors, the
Mm.
mayors, they've written
Yeah.
books.
Sure.
Wondering why our African leaders don't write
Mm.
books.
Yeah, I think it's a high time our African leaders and our African people start embracing not only the reading culture but also the culture of writing. Because it's unfortunate someone has served public office maybe for 10 years, 20 years. Then when they die or they retire, they just go away with all that knowledge.
That is not nice. You need
Yeah,
to leave a legacy. And
sure,
the best legacy, I think, can be found in a book.
sure.
They need to
I
get
totally
back to the
agree.
basics. Someone needs to
Yeah.
tell them that writing is very important. But
Yeah.
how do we talk to them? It's hard.
Mm.
I didn't know that Jomo Kenyatta wrote some books.
Yeah, there are some books by Jomo
Oh,
Kenyatta.
okay. Oh, I think I would want
Yeah,
to read
yeah,
the books that he authored. I've not seen
yeah.
anything.
Yeah. He used also to write a newspaper column or a
Oh,
newspaper segment, something of that sort. Yeah, yeah,
oh, I didn't
yeah.
know about that.
So
I didn't know about that.
yeah. So I know you
Yes,
are
sir.
an avid reader, and this question will be like I'll be reducing. How do I put it? By asking this question, I'll be reducing. I don't know how to phrase it. The question is, which books have really impacted your life?
Okay, one, it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
In terms of business, yeah, Poor Dad, Rich
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah.
Then there's
Yeah.
also a book written by the wife to Ton Blair, Cherry Blair.
Okay.
Those two books
Okay.
influenced my life a lot.
Mhm. Okay.
When I just finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
wow. So for me, I can be a businesswoman. It's not about going to
Wow.
school. It's
Yeah.
not just about going to school. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've read that book. It talks about
Yeah.
the poor dad. The poor dad was an educationist. He was, I think, a
Yeah.
teacher or professor,
Mm.
but he wasn't
Mm.
rich. And
Mm.
the rich dad was
Mm.
just a mere business person, and he had a lot of wealthy. He had a lot of money. So on the business part,
Mm.
I think that book taught me a lot. It
Okay.
taught me that it's not about education. Yes, I do value
Mm.
education a lot.
Mm.
It's a good thing to be educated. But
Sure.
when I read that book, to me, I was like, oh, wow. So
Mm.
even without going further, I can still
Mm.
be someone. I can still be
Mm.
the Warren Buffet of this world.
Mm.
I can still
Mm.
be all these people that we've been hearing about, the greatest businessmen that we
Mm.
have
Mm.
in the world. Yeah. So that book taught me that I can be a business woman.
Mm.
And then the book
Mm.
by Cherry Blair,
Mm.
it
Mm.
taught me that you can be anything that you want
Mm.
to become. You
Okay.
can be a leader.
Mm.
You
Mm.
can be a good public speaker. There's a lot in that book. And when I
Yeah.
just finished reading those two books, I said, wow,
Mm.
this is what I was looking for in life.
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
the reason why I've kept on reading, and some
Mm.
more.
Okay.
Books have had a huge impact in my life.
Mm.
I don't just read for
Okay.
pleasure, I read to
Mm.
learn. and also
mm,
to put into practice
mm,
what I read about. I don't just read just
mm,
for pleasure to please
mm.
myself. Every
Okay.
day I'm learning a new word. Every day
Yeah.
I'm learning about people that have become successful. Like I
Mm,
said about this man, Rashid Mohammadi, he's very, very
mm, mhm.
successful. He has a lot of
Sure.
properties. Of course, I have not finished the book yet, but I am
Mm,
remaining with a few pages, maybe about 20 or
mm,
30 pages. I've learned
mhm,
quite a lot that even as a
mm,
nation, there's still a
mm.
lot that we can do. There's still a lot that we
Okay.
can learn even from other countries
Mm, mm.
like Dubai. So this book
Yeah.
has
Sure.
also challenged me quite a lot.
Mm,
It has taught me
yeah.
that it's never too late to become what you want to
Mm,
become. You can still make a
sure.
difference in the world.
Yeah. I totally agree. So, to someone who is struggling to form a reading habit,
No
and someone
sound,
who is
no
maybe,
sound, David.
oh, sorry about that, to someone who is struggling to form a reading habit, or someone who maybe had that reading habit but of it they have slacked off, what advice can you give to them?
Tell them to come to me. Tell them to come to
Yeah.
me. Teach
Okay.
them. I'll motivate them. It's very easy. Get one
Okay.
book, read two or three
Okay.
sentences,
Yeah.
and you have to read about what you like. It's not just getting a book, going to a library, getting a book. You need to
Yeah.
understand yourself. What is it that you want to
Mm,
learn
mm,
about? Is it about
yeah.
nursing?
Mhm.
Is it about knowing who Bill Clinton is? Or is it
Okay.
knowing about the current president, Joe
Okay.
Biden? Joe
Yeah.
Biden, by the way, has
Yeah.
written some books. He's been writing books as well. So
Yeah.
it's not just a
Sure.
matter of
Sure.
saying,
Yeah.
let me start reading because Sarah reads a
Yeah.
lot. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
know why you want to start reading. If you want to know
Okay.
about me,
Mm,
you have to
mm,
read my book. I'll be finishing
yeah.
my autobiography in 3 months' time. So when it is
Okay.
on the market, yeah, when it is
Yeah.
on the market, please
Yeah.
support,
Yeah.
read my book,
Yeah.
and then
Sure.
you learn more about
Yeah.
me. You learn more about my
Yeah.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in short,
Mm,
what I'm saying
yeah.
is it's not enough to say start reading,
Mm,
David, start reading.
yeah. Mm,
You need to
yeah.
know what is it that you want to do. For example,
Yeah.
there have been some
Mm,
books that have been written about those that want, for example, if you want to start a restaurant or a cleaning company,
mm,
go to
mm,
a bookshop, look for the book that talks about having a cleaning company. You will learn a lot
mm,
in that book. If you want to
yeah.
start a restaurant, start
Mm,
start start reading books about restaurants. So
yeah.
it's not enough to say start reading. You need to know
Yeah.
if you like girls, for example,
Mm,
talk about books that read books that talk about relationships.
sure.
That way you learn a lot. It's not enough to
Yeah.
just say, yeah,
Mm,
even our
mm,
children start reading.
mm,
You have to give them a
mm,
reason as to why they should start
mm,
reading. Talk
yeah.
to them, tell them reading is
Okay.
important because all the information that we need now is in the books.
Mm, sure.
And for
Yeah.
me, I always
Mm,
encourage people reading hard books. You will never
yeah.
find me reading electronic books because I think there are a lot of
Okay.
issues with these electronic things, the IS and so on.
Mm,
So I
mm,
think let's be
mm,
encouraging our kids, our people to be reading hard copies so that we can save
yeah.
our eyes. I think it's important.
Yeah. 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 Keep up with your writing. Looking forward to reading your autobiography.
Very soon, David. Very soon it will be on the market.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when it's out, we should have you here and you tell us more about it when it's out.
That would be
So
nice.
as
Ready.
as we wind up, which yeah, as we wind up, which books would you recommend?
For now, I think I would recommend Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in
Okay.
Africa because of poverty. Most
Yeah.
families are living in poverty. And even
Okay.
as our children are going to school,
Yeah.
they've been taught that for you to be successful in life,
Yeah.
you ought to study hard in school, become a
Yeah.
lawyer, even when they don't have the
Yeah.
passion to become
Yeah.
lawyers or doctors. We force our
Yeah.
children to become lawyers,
Yeah.
to become doctors, to become
Yeah.
pilots. So the moment our kids read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they will know that there are other things that you can do. Even if you
Yeah.
don't succeed in the area of education,
Yeah.
David, you can still succeed in the area
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
business. That is number one. That is very, very important. And
Sure.
then also, we should encourage our
Yeah.
kids to read
Mm.
about our American presidents.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn from there. I'm not saying these kids
Yeah.
have to go to America to become
Sure.
presidents. No, no. There's a lot that we can learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Audacity of Hope is quite a good
Yeah.
book. It was written by
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
by Barack Obama. He talks about where
Obama.
he's coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
he talks about where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I think those books are great.
Yeah.
All the autobiographies. And like you said, if
Yeah.
our African leaders can start
Yeah.
we can start writing books so that our children can also start
Yeah.
reading, because these guys have a lot of information. So
Yeah.
once they start writing books, I think it would
Yeah.
be a good thing so that our children can learn more. And for the adults, it's
Yeah.
never too late. Never too late, David.
Yeah.
Someone could be 50,
Yeah.
60 years or 70
Yeah.
years. They can still learn how to read.
Yeah.
There are a lot of books that talk
Sure.
about marriage, for example, talk about relationships. Everything is in the books. And
Yeah.
then just
Yeah.
on that same one, I've noticed that
Yeah.
we have a lot of motivational speakers. I don't know about Kenya, but in Zambia we have
Yeah.
a lot of motivational speakers. I don't
Mm-hmm.
attend motivational talk.
Okay.
I don't. Because what I've
Okay.
noticed is that most of these motivational
Yeah.
speakers
Why?
are just after money. They're just after money.
Mm.
Someone will just go to a
Mm.
library, buy a book
Mm.
about motivation, get whatever
Mm.
information, then you hold a conference
Mm.
and start talking about
Mm.
what is read in the books.
Mm.
So if only people were buying books, I don't think they
Mm.
would be
Mm.
spending money to go and listen
Mm.
to a motivation talker who just
Mm.
wants money. So I would rather spend a
Mm.
200 kwacha or
Mm.
500 to buy 3 or 4 books than going for a
Mm.
motivation talk. So I think we're a bit
Mm.
backward. People don't know these
Yeah.
motivational talkers or whatever they are called. They buy books and they
Mm.
read, and because they know
Yeah.
you don't read books,
Mm.
they'll
Mm.
just work on your mind and brainwash you. The best is to buy books. So in
Mm.
case someone wants
Mm. Yeah.
motivational books, there are quite a number. Anton Robbins has written quite a number of books. He has
Yeah.
written a lot of books about motivation.
Sure.
So why should I go and pay
Mhm.
1,000 kwacha
Yeah.
instead of buying a book that will maybe be there for the next 10 or 20 years?
Mm.
Nothing wrong. Motivation is good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
Yeah.
good, but let's not
Yeah.
mislead people. Let's encourage
Yeah.
people to be
Yeah.
reading books,
Sure.
because the information is already there. It has already been written.
Mm. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important.
I totally agree with you on that. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for your time and looking forward to reading your autobiography, Sarah.